Okay, so welcome everyone. I just got some nice slides here for you. So I'm going to be talking to you today, of course, how to get the most out of a hackathon. All right. So I think Aislinn kind of gave me a decent introduction already, but just to refresh a little bit about me, I was the co-founder of WinHacks last year, as well as Border Hacks, and I'm coming again to WinHacks to be the technical lead and help with the organizing and all that. I'm elected the vice president of the University of Windsor's Computer Science Society, and I'm a project lead for the developer student clubs at the University of Windsor. I'm a 10 times hackathon participant, 3 times hackathon organizer, and 1 time hackathon mentor. And you can see a little bit about me on my website, jeremie.bornais.ca. So you can see up here, if at any point you want to join our WinHacks Discord server, I have the link here, discord.winhacks.ca. And I think this is a little cut off, but if you ever want to see these slides, the link to that is hack.bornais.ca. All right, so same domain is down here. So just in case anyone doesn't know what exactly a hackathon is, I'm just going to do a quick refresher. A hackathon is not an event where you go and you hack computers or whatever, websites. A hackathon is basically just an event where you go and create a project, a website, a mobile app, a desktop app, anything like that related to a challenge or something you're interested in. So it's less about actually hacking something, and it's more about coming together to solve a problem or create a project dedicated to a challenge. But I think what you'll find in this presentation is that although that's the main reason to go to a hackathon, there's actually a lot more to it than just that. So I kind of split up what to consider when going to a hackathon into 3 main aspects. And the first one is the most obvious, which is the competitive aspect. We all know that a hackathon, you go there, you build something, and you try and win a challenge or win the event or something. And that's probably the most obvious part of the hackathon experience. And I think as an immediate consequence of that, you have the learning aspect of a hackathon. And this really is, in my opinion, the best way to learn a new skill is by actually going out and creating something and doing something. So you come for the competitive aspect, and what you end up realizing is that in making stuff, you will find many opportunities to learn and broaden your horizons and learn new skills. And as an immediate consequence of that as well, you get the third aspect of going to a hackathon, which is the connections you make. So there are those from within your team, the teammates you have, you connect with, you work closely with. You have the other hackers that you may interact with at the events or in the Discord chat. And then there's also the opportunity to connect with both recruiters and sponsors and other professionals that may not necessarily be hackers, but you may want to connect with about job opportunities or career development or things like that. So the first aspect I'm going into, of course, is the competitive aspect. So how do you develop a winnable hack? What are the different types of challenges? How do I get the most out of the competitive part of the hackathon? So the first part I'm going to talk about is challenges. And of course, everyone wants to win a prize, right? So challenges, of course, are the best way to go about that. So you may be wondering, why should I even bother, going with challenges? Maybe I'm someone who's new, maybe I don't have much coding experience or whatnot. I'm not going to be able to make something that's going to win, so why should I even bother, right? Well, those presumptions you may make about challenges, they're not necessarily true. So go through, look at the challenges at a hackathon, and really find one you believe in or something that may be interesting to you. So a lot of our challenges may be something like, oh, let's try and solve an issue related to COVID, or I went to a hackathon where the theme of the whole hackathon was social good. So if you find something either related to a cause or a charity that you're personally interested in or invested in, then this challenge may be something that you would have wanted to create something for anyways. So it's a good idea to just look at the different challenges there are, find something that you believe in or something that feeds into what your skill set is, and just really go in and attack it and give it all you got. So the second point, of course, is you can win some pretty awesome prizes. If I had a decent webcam, I'd be able to show you the awesome Snapchat spectacles that I won at Hacklarious for Memebot, which are totally rad and totally cool. But although that may seem little to some of the prizes that you can win, a lot of them are cash prizes. I've seen gaming laptops and phones and tablets and stuff like that. So you can really win a ton at hackathon challenges. And also, it's often easier to win a specific challenge than it is to actually win the entire hackathon. So a lot of people go into the hackathon thinking like, well, there's only one winner, right? Or there's one big winner. But, there are a lot of opportunities to go beyond that. Maybe I'm not going to win the entire hackathon, get first place, whatever, but maybe I can choose the best domain name for my hack, right? And that's a lot easier to do than to win the entire hackathon. And lastly, there are both easy and hard challenges to complete. And what I mean by that isn't that maybe easier and harder isn't the best choice of words there, but there are certain challenges that will be more technical and require a greater technical knowledge or more of a skill set. And then there are some that are more creative, and that even if you don't have the technical knowledge, or maybe you're a brand new hacker, you can still be competitive and you can still win something. So as I said, there are basically two different types of challenges that you'll encounter. And honestly, there are probably more ways to categorize them, but I like to categorize them into the easier, quote unquote, challenges and the harder, quote unquote, challenges. So the easier challenges are usually less structured, you have more freedom, it's more of a creative thing. It's not necessarily you have to solve this specific issue and it requires like these specific guidelines. It's like, what's the best domain name that you can come up with? What's the best use of Google Cloud? Or what's the best use of X technology or Y technology? Or I've seen one for what's the best dev post submission, what's the best video created, right? So there are definitely ways to win these easier challenges, even if you're a new hacker or you don't have the technical background to make a full stack web application alongside a mobile app, right? So these I would definitely recommend if you don't have a huge technical know-how and you're a new hacker. Check these out, because honestly, anyone can win them, and it's really about how creative you are or how much work you put into it, really. And the second type of challenges, of course, is the harder challenges, and these are usually a lot more structured. You have a clear action that you have to do, and it's a lot more technical. So if you're someone who has experience, that you've made a couple things before and the technology required to go ahead and solve this problem and beat this challenge, then these are the types of challenges that I would suggest to you. So an example of that is create a mobile app for XYZ, right? So of course, if you've never worked with React Native or you've never worked with Flutter or something like that, then maybe this challenge isn't going to be something that you want to tackle. However, it could be a good motivation for you to learn something new. And I think one of the good things about these quote unquote harder challenges is they give you a clear idea of something to solve or something to do. So if you're someone who doesn't really know what they want to make, well, if a challenge says, hey, visualize this data, or hey, build this company a mobile app, then even though you may not have an idea, you have a clear path for what you could create and still beat a challenge. And also, what skills do I have to learn to complete this? So even though you may not have this technical know-how already, it could be a good opportunity for you to be like, hey, I want to learn this new technology. This is a good opportunity for me to find a way to go ahead and learn it. So how do I win a challenge, right? A lot of people ask this because they're like, oh, there's 600 hackers, there's 100 projects. How do I make mine shine? How do I make my hack winnable? So for the easier challenges, as I described before, you want to try and make something fun or interesting. You really want to show your creativity for it, because that goes a long way, right? Just if you can channel that inner humor or that inner creativity that you have within you, I think it'll go a lot longer than trying to develop something overly technical for these challenges, because that really isn't what they're looking for. They're just looking for someone who can make something cool or that looks nice, or something that's creative. And the second point, which I can't stress enough, is don't underestimate the power of humor. And as we talked a little bit about before at the beginning of the stream, the story of Memebot and how I won a hackathon by making a Discord bot that creates memes, right? Another example of a hack that I made is I made a website that generates Rickrolls for you. So it'll make convincing links that will Rickroll people, and it'll show custom metadata and everything. So definitely don't underestimate the power of humor, because if you can get someone to laugh, chances are you can get them to remember your hack, and it will help you stand out in the overall competition. So next, you have to make sure to read the challenge specifically, and you have to follow the instructions to a T. And although the challenge statement shouldn't be something that limits you in what you create, you have to make sure you're hitting all the key areas that the challenge asks for. So if the challenge asks for, I want this mobile app to have this functionality and this functionality and this page and this button and things like that, just, it's a simple thing to forget, but if you read it and actually break down what exactly you need to complete this challenge, then chances are you'll be a lot more successful, because like I said, it is easy to forget small details that are required as part of the challenge. And lastly, make sure you put some effort into your dev post submission. A lot of people spend the entire weekend working on the hack itself, making it super awesome, and then when they go over to post it on DevPost, it's like, oh shoot, I have 15 minutes before the deadline, I have nothing, I just have to throw the name on there and hope for the best. And that really isn't the best way to show off your hack, because especially if you're making like a desktop application or a mobile application that a judge can't just go to and see, right? Then your dev post submission is really the only way you have to communicate how your hack works, why it's cool, and why it should win. So make sure you take the necessary time to create a nice dev post submission. Um, Try to make a decent video alongside it. Take some good pictures. Learn Markdown syntax, because that's how dev post works. And if you follow all those guidelines, you'll be a lot more successful, because this really is your opportunity to show off your hack and sell it to the judges. So just a brief interlude about the story of how I personally won a hackathon. So this is Memebot, this disgusting little Pikachu here. This was for the Hacklarious Hackathon, as I spoke about before. So the whole point of it was make something that's fun, make something that's, not too serious, right? So I went in there, I was like, you know what? I've never made a Discord bot before. I had some ideas for some more functional ones that I wanted to make at a later point, but I was like, well, I'm at this hackathon and I want to learn how to make a Discord bot. And at the same time, I was like, I was constantly making memes for my friends and stuff. And I was like, okay, I want to make memes quicker, and I want to make something for this hackathon that's about funny, joyful things. So I'm like, okay, why don't we put some stuff together, make something that's funny, make a funny little mascot for it, and that's how we got Memebot. And here's some examples of some memes that I made with Memebot at the hackathon. So how I feel after eating 12 awake bars, and you see SpongeBob going a little crazy there. And then of course when you find out Hacklarious is almost done, and it's a very sad little dude right there. And I actually sent these memes in the MLH Discord chat during the hackathon, just to be like, I think these are funny memes. And they got, they're not wonderful, but they're kind of funny. They have a little bit of humor to them. And what ended up happening is some of the MLH coaches and whatnot, some of the judges saw them, and they thought it was really cool. So I guess another opportunity you have is, maybe you have your dev post submission, and that's great, but if you can create something that can actually be useful or can be shown off during the hackathon itself, then like it's just free. It's just a free way to advertise it. And I think me posting these in the Discord chat at that time before the deadline was played a role in why this hack did as well as it did. And it's nothing crazy too. If you check out my dev post, the video is pretty subpar at the time. I'm no videographer or anything. And if you check out the source code, it's actually very, very simple. So this is an example of, I don't know too much about coding, or I don't know how to make a 5,000 line full stack web application in 5 different languages. But you know what? You don't need that to create something that is winnable. Just make something that looks cool, does something fun, and if that's what you're going for, then you can have a lot of success in it. So here's an important point that people often forget, and that's judges are not looking for something fully fleshed out. You know, they're not looking for a hack that is completely free of bugs and has full features and, you know, is absolutely perfect and is done in the best standards in your code and all that. Judges know that you're making something in 24 hours or 36 hours or 48 hours, depending on the hackathon. And they know that there are going to be bugs and incomplete features and stuff like that. And honestly, that's a part of the fun, right? It's not about following best practices and making your UML diagrams and everything and planning it out absolutely perfect. It's about just making something, having fun with it. And, you know, even if your hack doesn't fully work or it's not fully how you want it to be, still make sure you submit it, because even if it doesn't work completely, just the creative aspect, or maybe they like the UI or something, you know, even little things like that that the judges are looking for, you may still be able to be successful, and you may still be able to actually win a challenge. You know, I made a web application called a useless site.online, and the whole point of the website was for it to be useless. And although I didn't win any crazy, you know, first place uh, uh, trophies or anything from it, I ended up winning the best domain award because, you know, the judges loved the name a useless place dot online. So even if your actual hack isn't fully fleshed out, don't worry about it. Still submit it. It's all a part of the fun. You have nothing to worry about. So I think that covers most of the challenge aspect, and, you know, how to develop a winnable hack and things like that. Now I like to go on more into the learning aspect of a hackathon. So you go to a hackathon, you want to win prizes, but you also want to go there to learn something new. So I think if you don't come out of a hackathon with more skills than when you entered it, then, you know, you probably did something wrong, because you really should go in there trying to expand your horizons or make something new or learn something new. So the first and one of the most straightforward ways to learn something new is to go to workshops. So workshops are specifically there for you to go and learn a new skill, a framework, an API, or a programming languages or a programming language, something like that, you know. And that's really what they're there for. They're events that you can just go right into, and a lot of times it'll feed directly into one of the challenges. So we may have a Google Cloud Platform workshop, and we may also have a Google Cloud Platform challenge, right? So a lot of times going to these workshops can be good, because you'll not only just learn something new, but you'll learn something that is related to one of the challenges that you may want to compete in. So really what it is you go to a workshop, you go to our Twitch stream, twitch.winhacks.ca, I think is one of our links we have, or just twitch.tv/winhacks. And you go there, we have workshops on new technologies or frameworks, languages, APIs. Last year at Border Hack, did a presentation on the Flask web framework, right? So this is your chance to like learn an actual skill that you can use in creating your hack, right? You may not know how to make a back-end web app, but chances are there's going to be a workshop on how to build that. And so you go to that, a lot of times you'll get some sample code from it, and you'll be able to make something that you didn't even know how to make at first. And the other thing is, you may already say know how to code in JavaScript, or you already know Flask, or you already know Flutter, but that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't still attend a workshop, because a lot of times you go in and you watch and you're like, oh wow, that's super simple, but I never realized that I can do that. It's like all the time, I've worked in front-end web development for some time, but every once in a while I'll still go on a beginner CSS workshop or beginner JavaScript tutorial. And I'll be like, wow, this simple thing that I've been doing manually, I could have been doing using this one simple process instead. So even if you think you already know everything about a particular technology or whatnot, chances are you don't, and chances are there's always going to be something new that you can learn from attending a workshop, even if you may already have experience with whatever the workshop is about. And, of course, you can explore things that you may not have been interested in originally. So I'm mostly into web development, but I still like to go to the Flutter workshop because, while I mostly do websites, I know that mobile development is a cool new thing that we can try out. And it's something that I'd be like, maybe I want to dip my feet into it, right? I want to make a Flutter app, or I want to make a React Native app, right? And as it says here, you can learn about the challenges and the specific technologies that you can use to be successful in these challenges, right? So definitely check out the workshops. A lot of them are very, very high quality. You'll definitely learn something new from them, and they're also a lot of fun. You get to connect with some people that are industry standard, industry experts, and you can also ask them questions during the workshop. I was at an event a couple years ago where one of the speakers of one workshop attended another workshop at the event because they themselves were curious and had questions about the technology. So it just goes to show there's always something you can learn, always something you can try out. Uh, and really, there's no reason to show up to a workshop if you have the time. So mentors, and this is probably one of the things that I believe makes hackathons a great, great place to really knuckle under and learn something new, because we have people here for you to help who are experts in what they're mentoring, and they've worked with it, and they've already seen probably half the bugs that you're experiencing in your hack. So definitely check out mentors. So they're there to help you with your project specifically, whether that be, you're new to a specific programming language or a framework or an API, whatever. They can go through and help troubleshoot some of the errors that you may be having. And like I said, a lot of these people have already seen the errors that you're getting, right? So they may be like, oh yeah, I know why this div isn't centered, or I know how you can make this button bigger, or it can be little things like that, or why isn't IntelliJ working for me, right? Or how come Android Studio isn't opening, or how come I can't run the Android emulator? Things like that. They've already encountered it, and honestly, just go to them, ask, and we have 24/7. Well, not 7, but chances are all hours of the day we have at least someone available to help you with your specific problem. And one of the things that I think people don't really realize is that mentors are there, yes, to troubleshoot errors and specific things like that, but they can also give guidance on how to improve your project. They can give you advice, say, maybe you're developing a CSS framework maybe it's not the best idea for you to manually input all of the or hex codes and just copy paste it in 50 different spots. Maybe it's a better idea to use a variable for it, right? Little things like that, or maybe, you know, oh, you want to make a back-end website and you're not really sure what to do. Why don't you check out Flask, or why don't you check out Ruby on Rails, you know, something like that. These are people who know how to solve these problems, and they can give you advice on what the best way to go about it is. So be sure to check out the ticketing system that we have in the Discord server. If you type help in the bot commands channel, then you can check out all the different commands. You know, shout out to Dennis for making an awesome bot. He always does a great job with it. He's made the past few bots, I think, for the past WinHacks, the past border hacks, and I think even helped with RU hacks or something, but I might be wrong. So shout out to Dennis. He's a great guy. But definitely check out this ticketing system. You end up, you know, maybe you don't want to ask the question in a public channel. Maybe you want specific one-on-one advice. You just open a ticket and you get your own little channel in the Discord server where all the mentors can see and give you help. So the biggest mistake that you can make when at a hackathon is giving up on your project. So we have expert help available for you all day from mentors who can help turn your project around, who can help get rid of that compiler error or help you move that div, whatever it is. You know, even if you think your project is a lost cause, or you know you're not really proud of it or whatnot, don't give up on it, because we have people that can help you. And even if it's not perfect, like I said, judges aren't looking for a perfect project. They're just looking for something that you can show off, something that can be a little cool. As long as you have something, I definitely recommend you post it on DevPost and, you know, keep giving it a shot, because really there's no sense in giving up. So self-learning is another way you can learn at a hackathon. Maybe we don't have a React Native workshop, but you still want to check it out. So there are many resources for hackers online that can really help expand, you know, what you can learn. So don't restrict yourself to workshops, because although they can be very helpful and there's a lot to learn, if you want to expand it, maybe you want to learn more about Flutter, or you want to learn more about this or that was at a workshop, check out some, you know, tutorials, templates, or guides related to what you want to make. There's specific repos and tutorials and templates and whatnot, all about getting started with, you know, specific languages or technologies quickly. You know, whether it be GitHub or YouTube, Free Code Camp, definitely check these out. Try to learn something online. And some resources for you that I think will help. So YouTube, definitely, I mean, everyone knows you have a problem, you look it up on YouTube, and there's at least 10 videos on how to solve that problem or how to get started in XYZ programming language. So honestly, just YouTube it. Some channels that I like are Free Code Camp, of course. Traversy Media is another good one. Honestly, just look it up and you'll find something that can help you 100% of the time. So GitHub may not be something that you immediately think of when you think, you know, oh, what can I use to get started with hacking? But if you look, I gave this as an example. If you go to the MLH GitHub account, they have specific repositories for getting started with. I believe they have one for an Express web app, they have one for a Flash web app, and you know, but if you just look up templates and things, you know, maybe you're not the best at making your hack look great, that's fine. You can import Bootstrap, or you can find a template for your website or something. It doesn't all have to be, starting from the ground up. You can make use of these things if you're not specifically trying to get, that part of the hacking done by yourself. And lastly, this is my favorite place to learn a new language specifically, or new skill. Free Code Camp has so much material on their YouTube channel and on their website. It's just crazy. And a lot of times they even have duplicate videos. Like, they make new videos every year. Like, there's probably like 3 or 4 Flask get started tutorials on it, just because they have, they've been around for so long and they've made so much content. So definitely check out Free Code Camp. So the third and final main aspect of, going to a hackathon and the whole hackathon experience is the connection aspect. And I know a lot of people hear the word connection and they immediately think, LinkedIn recruiters and whatnot and all this stuff, but connection does mean a lot more than that. Although I definitely recommend, if you don't have a LinkedIn, you should probably make one and put some stuff on there, because it is a good way to connect. But when you're at a hackathon, you're with so many other people from around the world. You've got hackers, you've got recruiters, you've got sponsors. I mean, we've had hackers from just about every continent, to my knowledge, at these MLH hackathons, whether it's in China or Canada or the United States or India or the UK. We have hackers from around the world, and really, what opportunity do you have to work closely with people from all around the world, right? It's really incredible to see everyone come together. So the first part I would like to touch base on is connecting with the hackers within your team. So if you don't know anyone going to WinHacks, don't even sweat it. It's actually a good thing, because we have team formation events specifically made for hackers without teams, or maybe that you have 2 people in a team and you want to go up to the 4-person limit, right? So we have these team formation events where you can team up with people from all around the world, from all different disciplines, different countries, different languages, all sorts of things. You can meet people and make new friends, and it's really incredible to see what happens when you go outside of your existing network and you just team up with some people who you may not know. So be sure to team up with some people you don't know. I definitely recommend it, because it really is a part of the fun. Although going with, a group of friends, that's completely fine. That's completely fun. But if you're not doing that, definitely just try out meeting new people, work with them, and you can definitely develop a lasting connection that, who knows what it could turn into, whether it be a friendship, or even potentially a job down the line. You never know, right? A lot of times, or a job recommendation is probably more likely. I know someone who went to a hackathon at Harvard, I believe, and through the connections he made there with some of the local hackers, he made some friends, and he ended up getting some job recommendations from the people he worked with, and he just had a blast with it. So definitely check out some new people when you're hacking. And really, this is one of the beauties of having a digital hackathon. Me and Aislinn were talking before about making the most out of the digital experience. When all the hackathons went online in last March, a lot of people saw, oh, this is a bad thing. But really, I saw it as a good thing, because now, you can go to a hackathon that's hosted in London, or in Kentucky, or all these crazy places that may be really far from you or maybe really close to you. I don't know, but you can meet people from all around the world, different backgrounds, different schools, all from the comfort of your home. And that really is one of the great things about um, going to a digital hackathon, and definitely something I recommend you take advantage of at WinHacks. So the other hackers that you can connect with are the people that you may not be teamed up with. So these are people that you may meet at the fun events, or people that you talk about or talk with in the Discord server. And remember, we're going to have hundreds of different hackers from all around the world, right? So you can really chat and learn new things and have a blast with these people that you may have been able to connect with before if you had not been to this hackathon. So definitely take advantage of the fact that you're here and you're at this event with all these different people that you don't know from all these different backgrounds. Take advantage of it, because you can learn from them, you can expand your network, you can make new friends. And one of the other thing is, you can check out what others are making for inspiration, or just look at some cool projects and think, maybe I don't want to make this for WinHacks, but maybe I want to make it for something else down the line, right? So connect with your other hackers, have fun with them, go to some events, chat with them in the Discord server, because it can be a lot of fun and you could develop some lasting friendships and lasting connections down the line. Now, here's the big one, the one that everyone asks about, and I believe we're going to be having a talk on this at some point in the future: how to connect with recruiters and sponsors, and how to get, how do I get a job from it, or how do I get an interview from it? Although that may not be something you can definitely do, there are definitely steps you can take to, how do I connect with people at this hackathon? So sponsors and other companies or organizations and recruiters, they will have virtual booths available to connect with at in the Discord server. And we're going to have times when these people are going to be online in the booth, and a lot of the time you may see that they're alone and there's no one talking to them. And this is your chance to go in there and chat about, what is your company looking for? Do you have some job opportunities? Do you have internships available? And even if you may not be able to like swing an interview right away, you can also go in there and be like, hey, what does this company look for in an intern or in a full-time employee? What are you looking for in your applicants? And they can guide you in, maybe the specific tech stack that they're looking for, or maybe the specific format of their resume, or this or that, whatever it is. These are the people that are going to be hiring you down the line if you apply. So just going in and chatting about, what are you looking for? What can I do to maximize my chances of getting a job at your company? And you can take that information that they give you and, make some changes to your resume, make some changes to your skill set, try and learn some new things, make some new things. And you know what? That recruiter or that sponsor, they may remember you and be like, this person had the drive to go in, to actually go in there and ask, what do you want? What do we want? And that shows that you have some drive and you have some potential. So just go in there and be like, hey, what are you looking for? Do you have some job opportunities, whatever? And, you'll come off very good, and it'll be a good opportunity for you to make a potential connection. And a lot of people do get internship or full-time interviews at these networking events or at these hackathons I know someone personally who I believe they were looking for a summer job, a summer internship, and it was their first time, and it was like May or April or something like that. So it was already after when most companies are hiring. He went to a hackathon and he went to one of the booths, chatted with one of the recruiters, and ended up getting an internship through it, despite the fact that he thought that he probably wouldn't end up getting one. So this is definitely possible, right? Even if you may think you're not good enough or whatever, just go in there and see what they want, and who knows, you may make a connection that can lead to something. And even this of course isn't guaranteed, and even if you don't get an interview or you don't get a job offer, just making the connection itself and learning what the company wants will be valuable for your job hunt, because it may help you in the future look for what other companies want for, right? Or help tone your skill set or your resume to what companies in the future may want. Or maybe you may end up getting an interview down the line with that company, because you know what they want. So definitely, although it may be a little scary at first, just go to the virtual booths, or if there's a networking event or something, just go in there and be yourself and just talk and just try and make some connections and have some fun. So I kind of lied when I said there were only 3 aspects, because there's a 4th aspect, very short, but it's just the fun aspect of a hackathon. So if you go to a hackathon and you don't enjoy it, then naturally, you're probably not going to come back to hackathons, right? Although they may be informative and great for your career, professional, or skill development, the core thing about what brings you back to a hackathon is how fun they can be and how much fun you can have going to hackathons. Okay, so there are definitely going to be some fun events that you can go to during the hackathon. We have workshops and that, but we also have some events that are, a little bit lighter in tone, a little bit, a little bit fun, a little bit funny. So some of my favorite events that, I've went to, there are the online capture the flag competitions, which are like white hat hacking. So you have to like get into a website and like, bypass something or whatever it is. It's a lot of fun, and you can actually learn a lot about cybersecurity through these events. So definitely check these out if you see one at a hackathon, because not only are they informative, but they're also a ton of fun. And we have things like Minecraft build competitions, or maybe there's a Minecraft spleef competition, or whatever it is. If you have Minecraft and if you have a little bit of a creative side to you, I mean, why not show up and have some fun, build something cool, and have some fun with other people that may be interested in Minecraft, and who knows, they may be people that you play with someday. This one I actually like a lot, and it's a bit of a newer one. It's the MS Paint Bob Ross painting. So it's basically you open up Microsoft Paint or some other, very simple paint program, and it's like you follow along with a Bob Ross video, and you try and, make something. I mean, the whole point of it is make something that's fun and don't really take it too seriously, because you're using MS Paint. So it's not going to be anything too amazing. So I really like that, because it's really lighthearted, and it's really about just having fun and, showing a little bit of your creative side. And the next one is my favorite. Uh, I'm not too sure how it's like pronounced. I called it Not Light, because I'm, computer science. You see the exclamation mark, you think not, but I think it's supposed to be No Light. But basically what it is you have this editor, in the web browser that you have to use, and you have to recreate a certain website without looking at the HTML and CSS that you're writing. So you just have to be like, okay, I'm going to do all this HTML and CSS and whatnot, and just hope for the best that it ends up looking like the website. And as someone with website experience, web development, this is my personal favorite event. If you like web development, if you like CSS, then definitely check this one out. I highly recommend it. And just another one that I'd like to bring up, if you like singing, a lot of times hackathons will have karaoke on stream, and that's a ton of fun. Um, Even if you may not be the best singer, just go out there and just do your best and just have a fun time with it, because it's all about just having a good time and enjoying yourself. And funny enough, some of these events have prizes too. So earlier, when I was talking about the challenges and stuff, those may be directed to your hack or whatnot, but you can actually win a prize by, say, making the best, Bob Ross painting, or building the best thing in Minecraft. So you can still win something even if, say, your hack isn't going too well. So definitely don't give up on the hackathon. Just go out, go to what you want to do, go to what you think will be the most fun, and I think you'll have a great time with it. So just some final tips and some thoughts before we go to the Q&A. So first of all, don't take the competition too seriously, because really there are times when you may create something absolutely amazing, but it wasn't your competition. You win some, you lose some, really. If you get hung up on it, or if you get really upset, remember that it is just a hackathon, just a competition. The prize really shouldn't be the only thing motivating you. If your hack is amazing and you did a really good job with it, then you still won, because you made something that you can be proud of, that you can put on your resume, that you can put on your GitHub, and that you can really be proud of. And I think that's more important than winning some Snapchat spectacles or something, right? So the next point is, try new things when you're at a hackathon. I know it's very easy to be like, well, I've made a lot of mobile apps, I'm just going to keep making mobile apps. But maybe you try making a web app this time, or a desktop app, or something else. The satisfaction is addicting when you can expand your horizons and make something that you haven't made before. So definitely just try some new things, try a new programming language, or a new style, or just try something new while you're at a hackathon. So next is, have fun with the other hackers. You can definitely bond with them over the fun events, or jokes, memes, or maybe even a rickroll or two. I personally like the rickroll aspect of it, but that's just me. But there are, as I said, there are plenty of opportunities to have fun at the hackathon and bond with your teammates and your other hackers. So the next part is one I can't stress enough. Whether you think your project is worthy of submitting or not, just do it, because this, even if you don't win a challenge, or you don't think it's fully fleshed out or whatever, this gives you an opportunity to show off what you made, and you can still be proud of the work that you did, even if it isn't super crazy good, or if it's super fleshed out or whatever. Just submit anyways. And you know what? Even if you think you may not win a challenge, you know, like I said, one of the challenges you can win is best domain, right? So even if your web app isn't the best or it doesn't fully work, you can win a challenge just for having a cool domain name, right? So just submit it anyways. You'll be happy you did. So next is don't save the submission for the last minute. So many people spend so much time on their hack and they leave the dev post submission to 50 minutes before the deadline, and they end up not being able to, show off their actual hack. So start it well in advance. When you know what you're making, create the dev post submission, create the skeleton for it, and fill in details as you're hacking, because you may miss some things, last minute when you want to put it on. And remember that judges are looking at your dev post submission. So try to make it as nice as you can, or put as much information as you can without overcrowding it. And part of that is starting it well in advance so you can take the time to make something that you can be proud of on your dev post submission. And finally, you don't need to be an expert videographer to make a good presentation. Just show off your work. Whether you have to do a screen recording of you showing off your web app or whatever on your $20 Call of Duty headset, it doesn't matter. They're not judging you based on how good the video is. They just want to see your hack in action. So just make a video, put some effort into it. Make sure you're showing off your work is the most important part of the video.